Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Breaking news today that's going to affect millions of American households across the country. President Trump has just signed a major economic stimulus package that includes $1,300 direct payments to qualifying Americans, with the first wave of direct deposits scheduled to hit bank accounts as early as this weekend. Could you be among the first to receive this financial boost? Stay tuned because I'm going to break down everything you need to know about these new stimulus checks, who qualifies, how much you might receive, and exactly when to expect your payment. Before we dive into all the details, if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you never miss out on important financial updates like this one. Your support helps us continue bringing you the latest news that impacts your wallet, so I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Now, let's talk about what this new stimulus law actually entails. Just yesterday, President Trump signed the Economic Recovery and Household Relief Act of 2025. Following weeks of negotiations in Congress, the package comes as a response to ongoing economic pressures facing American families, with inflation still affecting everyday costs despite recent improvements in the overall economy. According to the White House statement, these $1,300 payments aim to provide immediate relief to households struggling with rising costs of living while also stimulating consumer spending. So who exactly qualifies for these new stimulus checks? The eligibility requirements are similar to previous stimulus programs but with some important differences you should be aware of. Individual taxpayers with adjusted gross incomes up to $75,000 will receive the full $1,300 payment. For heads of household, that threshold increases to $112,500, and married couples filing jointly can earn up to $150,000 and still receive the full amount. Beyond these income levels, the payment gradually phases out, with no payments for individuals earning above $99,000, heads of household above $136,500, and married couples above $198,000. But what about dependents? Here's where this new program differs from previous stimulus packages. Each qualifying dependent, regardless of age, will add an additional $500 to your total payment. This means families with children or adult dependents could receive significantly more than the base $1,300 amount. For example, a family of 4 with 2 children could potentially receive $2,300 if they meet the income requirements. Have you checked if your family size might qualify you for these additional funds? The Treasury Department has announced an ambitious rollout plan for these payments. Direct deposits will begin processing this weekend for Americans who already have their banking information on file with the IRS from previous tax returns. Paper checks will start going out next week, with about 5 to 7 million checks expected to be mailed each week. And if you received previous stimulus payments via prepaid debit cards, you can expect a similar delivery method this time around, with those cards beginning to ship within the next 2 weeks. What's particularly noteworthy about this stimulus package is the speed at which it's being implemented. Previous stimulus programs often took weeks or even months to fully distribute funds, but the Treasury Department has streamlined the process based on lessons learned from earlier pandemic-era payments. Officials estimate that approximately 85% of eligible Americans will receive their payments within the first 3 weeks of distribution. Wondering where your payment stands? The IRS is relaunching an updated version of the Get My Payment tool on their website this Friday, allowing you to check the status of your stimulus check. But how exactly should you use this money? While these payments are intended to provide relief and stimulate economic activity, financial experts suggest several smart approaches. If you're currently facing financial hardship, prioritizing essentials like housing, utilities, and food should be your first consideration. For those with stable income but mounting debt, using the stimulus to pay down high-interest credit cards or loans could save you money in the long run. And if you're fortunate enough to be financially secure at the moment, consider building or strengthening your emergency fund, as financial advisors recommend having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved. Some critics have expressed concerns about the potential inflationary impact of this new stimulus. However, Treasury Secretary has defended the measure, stating that the targeted nature of these payments, combined with other anti-inflationary policies being implemented simultaneously, should minimize any negative effects on inflation. According to economic analysts, the overall impact on the national economy is expected to be positive, potentially boosting GDP by 0.3 to 0.5% in the coming quarters. But what does this mean for your personal financial situation in the months ahead? It's important to note that these stimulus checks are technically advance payments of a recovery rebate credit for the 2025 tax year. What does this mean for you? The payments are not taxable income, so you won't need to report them on your tax returns. However, if you don't receive the full amount you're entitled to based on your 2023 or 2024 tax information, you may be able to claim the difference when you file your 2025 taxes next year. Conversely, if you receive more than you would qualify for based on your 2025 income, you generally won't be required to pay back the difference. For Social Security recipients, railroad retirement beneficiaries, and others who typically don't file tax returns, the government will use information from benefit programs to automatically distribute payments, no additional action required. Veterans and SSI recipients should also receive automatic payments based on information already in the system. But what if you're among the small percentage of eligible Americans who don't fall into any of these categories? In that case, a simplified online form will be available on the IRS website starting next week to ensure you can still claim your payment. There are also special provisions in the legislation addressing unique situations. For instance, families with newborns in 2025 may qualify for additional payments when they file their 2025 taxes. Individuals who experienced significant income drops in 2025 compared to previous years may also qualify for additional credits. The law even includes provisions for those who have recently passed away. If someone eligible for a payment dies before receiving it, the payment can still be claimed by the estate or surviving spouse. What makes this stimulus package particularly notable is its bipartisan support. Despite the often polarized political climate, the final bill passed with significant backing from both major parties, reflecting widespread agreement about the need for additional economic support for American households. President Trump highlighted this cooperation during the signing ceremony, noting that helping American families should transcend political divisions. The package also includes funding for small business loans, healthcare provisions, and infrastructure investments beyond just the direct payments. Some critics have questioned whether these payments are substantial enough given ongoing economic challenges. A recent survey found that 68% of Americans support these direct payments, though about half of respondents believe the amount should be higher. Others have argued that more targeted assistance to those most in need would be more effective than broad-based payments. What do you think? Is $1,300 enough to make a meaningful difference for American families? Or should the government be doing more? If you're eligible but don't receive your payment in the expected timeframe, don't panic. The IRS has established a dedicated phone line for stimulus payment inquiries, though they recommend checking the online portal first as phone wait times are expected to be long. In previous stimulus rounds, some payments took up to 3 months to process completely, particularly for complex situations or those requiring manual review. Banking experts also caution against falling for scams related to these payments. Remember that the IRS will never call, text, or email asking for personal information to process your stimulus payment. Looking ahead, economists are divided on whether additional stimulus measures might be necessary later in 2025. Some financial analysts suggest this could be the first of multiple economic support packages, while others view it as a one-time intervention. Much will depend on how quickly the economy responds to this initial stimulus and whether inflation continues to be a persistent challenge for American households. As we wrap up today, remember that staying informed about these financial developments is crucial for maximizing your economic well-being. If you found this information helpful, please take a second to like this video and share it with friends or family members who might benefit from this news. Don't forget to subscribe for ongoing updates as we continue tracking the rollout of these stimulus payments and analyzing their impact on everyday Americans. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video with further updates as the stimulus payments begin hitting bank accounts across the nation this weekend.